Hey, what's up, people? JayDub here, going to be talking about a couple of topics that's been in the wrestling news these last couple of days. Hopefully, you guys share with me your thoughts and opinions on the subjects that I discussed in this video down in the comment section below. And also, remember to rate this video thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click that subscribe button up there. Thanks. On to the first subject we're going to be discussing: Kurt Angle being arrested in Grand Forks, North Dakota yesterday for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Now, I have to point out that he wasn't arrested for a DUI because you can't arrest somebody for driving under the influence if you don't actually see them driving the car. And the cops arrived at the scene after the accident happened, so they didn't actually see how he got to where he was. And Kurt Angle, he posted his version of the events on Twitter. I'm not necessarily saying that what he's saying on Twitter is true, but this is the truth according to Kurt Angle. And of course, you have to put an asterisk next to that statement. So he says he's driving along the road completely sober, and he hits an icy patch on the road. His car swerves. He's going towards a snowbank. He then hits and crashes into that snowbank, and he calls the cops because he needs help and he wants to get back to his hotel room. So he says the cops get to the scene and they had quote-unquote other plans for him. And at this point, I'll pick up the story from TMZ's perspective. So they say the cops get to the scene, they smell alcohol on his breath, they subject him to a field sobriety test, and then they find out that he failed that test and he was under the influence of alcohol, and at that point they arrest him. So he didn't get arrested for a DUI. But my whole thing is, if you find a dude in his car in the middle of a fucking highway drunk, how the fuck do you think he got there? What did he do? Teleport? Like, as awesome as Kurt Angle is, I don't think that he's mastered the ability of teleportation quite yet. So, of course, he was under the influence of, you know, he was driving under the influence. But he's lucky that he didn't get arrested for that. Well, not too lucky, because his ass still got arrested. But lucky it wasn't for a DUI. But, yeah, speaking of this DUI and things, he actually posted on Twitter that he wasn't even drunk. Like, he said, oh, the cops had different plans for me, and TMZ is blowing the story out of proportion. All TMZ said was that he was arrested after he failed the field sobriety test. And if you failed the field sobriety test, I can't see how you're talking your way out of this, trying to spin the argument in your favor when the law is a law. Like, hey, maybe he was thinking, oh, I'm not drunk, I'm just buzzed, or I'm just a little tipsy. Well, it doesn't matter what your word is that you use. According to the law, you were drunk. So, hey, there you go. And he's saying that all he's been trying to do is live his life on a straight and narrow path, and he's trying to live his life right and stay clean. So he's saying that he doesn't need help. Maybe he does need help and he's just in denial, or maybe he doesn't. But this isn't the first time that something like this has happened with Kurt Angle involving substances and, you know, drugs and things like that. A couple of years ago, he was arrested for allegedly assaulting his then girlfriend, Raka Khan, who was also a TNA knockout. They were saying he was chasing her around parking lots and stuff. I think all of the charges were dropped in that situation, but they did find things like HGH in his car. And yeah, I don't want it to get to a point where Kurt Angle has some kind of tragedy and I have to get up and read on a wrestling website that, you know, something has happened to Kurt Angle. So if he does need help, he needs to get out of this denial stage and go get that help. And you also have to ask yourself a question: what the hell is going on over there in TNA? Like, you have this situation with Kurt Angle, then you also have Jeff Hardy. Like, oh my God, Jeff Hardy, he's a big fucking train wreck. He's the original Charlie Sheen. People are going crazy over Charlie Sheen. Jeff Hardy was doing Charlie Sheen before Charlie Sheen was doing Charlie Sheen, all right? Like, in this situation, but with the Charlie Sheen, people are laughing at him. The situation with Jeff, this shit is not funny because this dude is a fucking slime ball. Like, Jeff Hardy, he's one of the bottom feeders in this world. And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, you can do your drugs and shit. Like, you know, I don't want to be all self-righteous telling you what you should do when you get home and stuff. But when you come to your arena and you have to work, you have your opponent's life in your hands. Like, literally. Like, if you make a wrong move, you can fucking harm somebody. You can kill somebody. Just look at what he did with Mr. Anderson. I'm not necessarily saying that he was under the influence of drugs in that moment, but what if he was? When he busted Mr. Anderson's head open, blood gushing everywhere, and he ends up getting a concussion. What if he was under the influence then? What if something else happens? You know, and they avoided the situation of something possibly happening at Victory Road, but at that point, it's already too late. you should have known that shit long beforehand. Like me, I don't know the details of what's going on with Jeff Hardy and TNA, but I can see with my own eyes and with my common sense in my fucking head that I may not know specifically what's going on, but I know something is going on. Something is not right in that situation, and some changes need to be made. Jeff Hardy is on a path in life that's going to lead nowhere but destruction. Nowhere but destruction. And you have to ask yourself, how many wake-up calls does he need? With this house burning down, and him getting fired from WWE before, and him getting arrested, and him possibly facing jail time, him busting somebody's fucking head open. Where does it end? Where does it end? And I have an idea of where and how it ends, but I don't want it to go there. I really, really don't want it to go there. And yeah, more on the Victory Road situation. I don't know if you guys have been following this situation in wrestling news, but it was reported that a couple of minutes before Jeff Hardy had to go live and compete in a world title match on a pay-per-view in the main event, they found him backstage at Victory Road, passed out on the floor just a couple of minutes before a match. So they pick him up, and no, they don't call the cops. No, they don't call the ambulance. Don't call 911, anything like that. They pick him up and drag him to the gorilla position right behind the curtain, right before you come out on the stage, so he can go out and compete in the match. And of course, the match only lasted 90 seconds, but yeah, this is wow. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like everybody backstage in TNA, the management, running around like chickens with their fucking head cut off. Like, do you have a drug policy back there? And if you do, would you mind releasing it to the public? What are the punishments when your wrestlers do this? What kind of things are you trying to do to deter actions like this? Because TNA, you've been around for a while in the wrestling industry. You've been around since 2002. It's 2011 now. Over these 9 years, there's been a lot of shit that had happened in the wrestling industry, a lot of deaths, a lot of tragedies, and you should have wised up by now. Or is it going to take a tragedy within your company for you to wise up? And I hope it doesn't get to that point, but yeah. Wow, I really don't know what to say about this, but Jeff Hardy, get your shit together. John Cena is 10 times the performer that The Rock is. Now, before you rock marks start to attack me, those are not my words. Those are the words of none other than Randy Orton from a recent interview he did with ESPN.com, and he had some very interesting and also controversial comments that he directed at The Rock. He was asked about the situation going on with John Cena and The Rock and this little feud that they have going on, and Randy Orton basically used this as an opportunity to go into attack mode, and he said some very interesting things about The Rock, some direct headshots at him, some strong ones. So I want to know what you guys think about his comments. On top of him saying that Cena is 10 times the performer that The Rock is, he also made these comments, and here we go, and I quote: "You will see in interviews that The Rock does that he says he doesn't want to be known as a wrestler. He doesn't want to be known as a sports entertainer or a performer with WWE or WWE superstar. He wants to be known as an actor. Now all of a sudden he's back in our world." Note, Randy Orton says that The Rock is in their world. Make it a note to remember that. He's back in our world telling the fans what they want to hear. He's telling them, I promise that I will never go away again. I promise that I'm back for good and I'm here to stay. He said that, what, 6-7 weeks ago? Have we even seen him on live since then? No, via satellite. I think Cena will own The Rock. I think Cena is wittier and can go off the cuff. Cena writes his own stuff while The Rock has stuff written for him. And that's when he makes the comments about John Cena being 10 times a performer in the ring that The Rock is. Now, at certain points in this little statement that's Randy Orton made on The Rock, I was grooving with him. I'm like, Randy, yes, he's speaking the fucking truth. Finally, hallelujah. But then when he started making comments like Cena will own The Rock and how Cena is 10 times a performer, I'm like, apparently those voices that you hear in your head were so damn loud that they were drowning out your common sense, because I don't know what the fuck happened to you when you started talking that bullshit, you know. And at that point I'm like, yeah, let's well, how about those Lakers? Let's change the subject, because I don't know where he just went off on something else. But at certain points I have to say he was speaking the truth. But of course you guys have your opinions and let me know what you think. I hear a lot of people saying that Randy Orton is speaking the truth. Then there are others that are saying Randy Orton is just jealous of The Rock's Hollywood career. Then there are some people saying that Randy Orton is being disrespectful. Well, I will put Randy Orton, John Cena, and CM Punk in the same group. And some of you may be asking me, why CM Punk? Well, on Twitter, he's been taking some shots at The Rock. He posted a message saying that he's going to the gym via satellite. That was clearly a shot at The Rock. And he also posted a little picture. I'll put it up in this video. It was basically making fun of The Rock not being at Raw every week and making fun of his movies and things like that. And also at a WWE event, I believe it was at Monday Night Raw, like during a dark match when the cameras cut off, we actually saw a picture of CM Punk wearing a John Cena cap and the shirt that says, "I bring it via satellite." So that's basically him clearly showing his support for John Cena in this war that is being waged against The Rock. So John Cena, CM Punk, Randy Orton, they're speaking out on The Rock, and some people may call them disrespectful. You're disrespecting somebody that has paved the way for you in the wrestling industry. And I don't necessarily say that being disrespectful in this case is a negative thing, because you have to look at the situation that they're being put in. They may be, are being disrespectful to The Rock, but maybe they feel that The Rock disrespected WWE. And since they are WWE now, they feel that they need to stand up for WWE. And The Rock comes back as this big man on campus, thinking that he's running something, thinking that he has claim over something. And basically what they're saying to him is that, hey, any claim you had over being a pro wrestling legend or a WWE icon, you forfeited those titles when your ass left us high and dry 7 years ago. So you come back now and you're expecting respect? Why the hell do we have to respect you when you didn't respect this industry? And I told you guys to make a point about Randy Orton saying that he's coming back in our world. Basically, that was him saying that The Rock now is an outsider. And isn't that kind of weird to say, though? Because if you look at it, The Rock has been in WWE since before Randy Orton or John Cena or, CM Punk were ever thought of. And now these guys are looking at him like he's an outsider. Because basically they're saying you're more of an actor now than you are a pro wrestler. Like I said, you ditched those titles long ago. So we don't have to show you respect. And I think what they're doing, I think it has to be respected. As for I respect what they're doing. Because there are a lot of people who just are fawning over The Rock. They can't get over the little glossy-eyed thing. Okay, I had glossy eyes when he came back on February 14th, but now I'm facing reality. He is telling us what we want to hear. And yeah, and I think that they're speaking the truth. They're being honest, and they're showing their passion for the industry. And whether The Rock did betray the industry, whether he does feel whether he does or doesn't feel ashamed about it or not, that's the perception, and sometimes the perception matters more than the reality. So hey, I guess we'll see what happens. The Rock, he did say he's here to stay and he's never leaving again. Let's see what quote unquote never leaving again really means. I don't know. Make sure you guys give me your thoughts on all of the stuff that I discussed in this video, and also to go back on the whole Jeff Hardy thing. Jeff Hardy, Marks, save the bullshit, because I know, like, your fingers have been working the bone ever since Victory Road trying to defend Jeff Hardy's ass. And yes, I call him a slime ball. Yes, I call him a bottom feeder, and I 100% agree with that. And you guys, instead of attacking people that are wishing Jeff Hardy gets help, you should be wishing he gets help yourself. Like, if you're such a big fan of his, stop making excuses for him. Stop defending him. And that goes for Matt Hardy also. That's your fucking brother. I know you want to defend him, like you're going on Twitter saying, oh, Jeff is fine. Jeff is fine. There's nothing wrong with him. It's clear that something is wrong. And with you being his brother, you should be trying to get him help. And that, all of the fans also, you should be wishing that the dude gets help. So that's all I'll say about that subject. But make sure you give me your thoughts on all of the stuff that I discussed in this video. And I am out. Peace.